This is me, and Unit 5, Lesson 5, English for today, Class 8. The title is The Truthful Dove. Before starting the lesson, we will know about the keywords of the lesson. That is the important words of the passage. There are some important words of the passage. These are number 1, shelter, refuge, sanctuary, grumpy, it means short-tempered or crotchety, unwillingly, reluctantly, or unenthusiastically, selfish, it means egocentric or self-centered, sly, it means cunning or crafty, praise, praise means admiration or approbation, brave, brave means courageous or valiant, generous, magnanimous or liberal, mighty, ferocious or robust, flattery, adulation or perfidy. These are the important words of the passage. These words will help you to understand the passage very well. So come to the lesson. Read the text and answer the following questions. Once upon a time, a dove and a bat were very good friends. One day, the two friends decided to set out on a journey. They flew over the rivers and hills and came to a big jungle. Both the friends were very tired. They needed to sit down and take a rest. Soon night fell and it was dark all around. A storm rose. It started to rain heavily. The dove and the bat started to look for a shelter. So the beginning of the passage is we see there are two friends. Those names whose name were a dove and a bat, and they decided for a trip, and they passed a number of ways. That means they passed over the rivers and hills and finally reached to a big jungle. Because of long journey, they become tired. They decided to sit down and take to rest, and in the meanwhile it started to rain and storm, and they were looking for shelter. And next para, they came upon a century-old rain tree. An owl had two nests in the tree, and an owl had his nest in that tree. The dove and bat knocked at the owl's door. The old grumpy owl opened the door. The dove and the bat knocked at the owl's door. The dove and the bat requested him to give them shelter. That means finally they reached to an old rain tree where there was an owl. There was an owl, and they knocked at the owl's door for a shelter. But unfortunately, the owl was very grumpy. That means short-tempered. Unwillingly, they gave them shelter in his house, in his residence. Finally, what happened? Let's see in the next para. The owl unwillingly let them in. The two birds were hungry too. They begged for some food. The selfish owl was not happy. However, he shared his dinner with them. The dove was so tired that she could hardly eat. But the flat was sly. He ate greedily. He began to praise the owl with the thought of getting more food. The bat said, "Oh, wise and brave owl, you are the most generous person I have ever seen. You are powerful and mighty." So in the para, we see that the owl was unwilling, unenthusiastic to give them shelter. Fortunately, he was agreed to give them shelter, and finally he also shared with his dinner with them. And of the two birds, the bat was very sly, that is clever, and the dove was very shy in nature. Here we see the two characteristics of a person, of two persons. One character is craftiness, and another one shyness. The bat praised the owl highly to get more and more food, and it was for his selfishness. Okay, next para. This is last one. The owl was very pleased at the bat's flattery. The owl was very pleased at the bat's flattery. He puffed and ruffled himself, trying to look as wise and brave as possible. Then he turned to the dove and asked, "Now, little dove, what do you think about me?" Finally, the owl became very pleased with bat because he has he has praised him highly, and he pretended to be very wise and very brave, and consequently he asked the dove, what's your conception about me? Tell me. He was asking question to the dove. So the story is very interesting story, and the story has been finished by the question of the owl. So finally, what we'll find in the story, in our society we see some kinds of people, especially two characters. Two characters are mentioned here um, by the two birds. So dear viewers, dear students, if you understand the lesson very well, then you can be able to answer some MCQ and open-ended questions, and some fill in the blanks. So let's start open MCQ for you. Here chart for MCQ. Choose the correct answer to each question from the alternatives given and write the corresponding number of the answers in your answer script. On the word grumpy in line 10 of the text means, that means grumpy means what? Good tempered, but sulky, well tempered, good tempered, or bad tempered and sulky. So it should be bad tempered and sulky, because grumpy means short tempered or bad tempered. Where did they come after flying over the hills and rivers? That means what was their destination? Where did they come after flying over the hills and rivers? To a tree, to a big jungle, to a river, to a hill. It will be to a big jungle. They need to take rest because of their refreshment, tiredness, joy, plan. It should be tiredness, because they were very tired for their long journey. Fourth one, the word unwillingly means, here unwillingly means in an unwilling manner, in an willing manner, in a kind manner, in a sympathetic manner. So it will be in an unwilling manner. The word flattery means necessary but insincere praise, excessive but sincere praise, since necessary and sincere praise, excessive and insincere praise. So it will be, dear viewers, excessive and insincere praise, flattery. So these are the samples of MCQ questions. If you practice, if you understand the passage very well, and if you practice synonyms of the important words of the passage, then you can be able to answer, to solve the MCQ questions very easily. So try to practice more and more from your textbook and from your guidelines given. I have given already. So next come this is open-ended question. This is another important thing. Open-ended question. Answer the following questions from your reading of the above text. Who were the two good friends? Already mentioned in the passage. We know a dove and a bat were very good friends. What did they decide to do? What's their decision to do? They have decided for a trip, for a journey, because of their happiness. Already discussed in the passage. Why were they tired? Why were they tired? What is the reason of their tiredness? Because they have made a long journey, you know. And why did they look for a shelter? This is an important question. They looked for a shelter because of already in the passage mentioned, there was a rain, there was a storm, they couldn't stay outside. That's why they look for a shelter. So to answer this type of questions, you have to remember that you have to first think about grammatically correction. If it is past tense, then answer will be past tense. If it is present tense question, then it must be in present tense. And if it is another tense, then you should follow that one. So grammatically correction and information, these two things must be maintained to get good marks in open-ended question. Okay, dear viewers, and next come to another topic, that is fill in the blanks. It is part of a synth passage. Read the following text and fill in the gaps with appropriate words to make it a meaningful one. So it is the summarized information of the passage. So let's start the fill in the blanks. Once a bat and a dove were very good friends. They set out for a journey and dash tired of flying. They sat down to rest. They started and dashed for shelter as it started to rain heavily. They found an owl dash in her nest on a century-old rain tree. They dashed him to give them shelter and food. The owl gave shelter and food to them unwillingly. The bat ate voraciously and dashed the owl with pleasing words. So you see, it is a fill in the blank, and you have to remember that to answer this type of questions, you have to follow two things. First one, information. Second one, grammatically correction. You have to read the line, and you have to understand that in the blank, which one should be said. It is noun or verb or adjective or adverb. What should be? Accordingly, you will fill in the blanks. So I think hopefully you have understood the passage very well, and already you have a clear idea of the passage, how you will be able to answer these three types of questions. For MCQ, once again I'm telling you, for MCQ, you have to know the synonyms of the important words of the passage. And for open-ended questions, you have to know the grammatical sides. That means if you see the question in the present tense, then answer will be in the present tense. If you see the question in the past tense, the answer will be in the also past tense. So these things should be maintained for open-ended questions. And third one, for fill in the blanks, already I had mentioned. For this, I have to understand the passage very well. Dear viewers, dear students, I think you have understood all three types of question answer. from a same passage, and how you will answer this in your answer script. You have a good idea. So see you with another new lesson. In the meantime, stay home, stay safe. Goodbye. Thank you. Thanks to all.